Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a long awaited episode of the Moviegoers live show. This is episode 36. Yeah, it took a little month-long hiatus, but I kind of felt like I needed that because YouTube stuff's been crazy, work life, all that kind of shit. You guys know the deal. But tonight's guest is no stranger to us, like for this channel. He is popping out quite a bit in my Q&As, and also he is one of my watch-along co-hosts. So, guys, you know him. He's one of the coolest dudes I know here, and he's one of the nicest guys I know. So let's welcome my boy Cam, aka KamCrossComics.
Hey, thank you so much for all the kind words, man. Appreciate it.
Well, dude, you've been sticking around with us for a little while, man, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad.
I think I've been around since, because of course we first talked when we did the Oscar prediction with Mike and Gav on Gav's channel, and then from there I've been in a lot of watch-alongs. What was my first watch-along on the channel? I think it was. I'm not sure because I don't know. I feel like I've been here a while.
You've been here for a little while, man. I'll tell you that. If I remember correctly, I think it was Saw 2.
I think so.
It has to be Saw 2.
Yeah, I think you're right because that was it was because that was my first time with like experiencing like the outro thing that we did with Mike and all that. So yeah, Saw 2 was my first watch along.
That's correct, yes, and that's when you joined in for quite a bit of the Jason Statham ones, Crank High Voltage, The Beekeeper, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very glad that you and I have connected over the past few months. It's been a ride, dude. I tell you, that, it's been a ride.
Oh yeah, it's been great.
Let's hit the comments here really quick. That's right. Just wanted to take a little break from this and try to focus on some of my other stuff, not just in my normal life, but in my YouTube stuff. Because you guys, in regards to the views, have been killing it with those watch-alongs. Like, you guys have been killing it. So, because The Beekeeper has over 2,000 views right now, and Transporter 2 is dude, that one was our highest viewed video for got the most views in like a few days. Like,
wow,
over 1,000 views. So
dang, okay, sweet.
That one, I'm surprised that people actually wanted to go to that one. So yeah, that one blew up.
Yeah,
and I'm very happy about that. Fritzky the goat is in the building.
What's up, Fritzky?
What's up, brother? That's the first one he did on his channel. I was saying in regards to when he came on to mine.
My first watch along on the Lupano channel was for Saw 2, but yeah, Iron Man was my first one, and it was so fun. So I'm hoping to do more soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely quite a bit. Like, we're still gonna. If anybody's wondering for Cam in regards to which one, like, if it's still gonna happen, we are still gonna do Madam Web. So
I'm just trying to figure out the best time for that, and I'm also doing the first 2 Deadpool films next month and the weeks leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine. So that should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, this man right here will not stop talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
I can't.
It looks good. I can't lie. It looks good. Be with Drew,
the MVP,
the real MVP. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Working on editing my short film. Can't wait to see you guys for the footage. I'm definitely gonna release a little BTS or a teaser soon. Cool, dude.
Awesome.
Can't wait to see it. Thursday, we'll be doing a watch along for Deadpool this Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. Very cool.
Fun. Nice.
You can announce our idea for a future podcast episode regarding that film if you want. We'll keep that in mind there. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's great to be a part of it. So it's so much fun.
Yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, I've known Cam for a few months because Gav, um, we did the little Oscar predictions with him and Gav and Mike. So, and that was a lot of fun because like in the footage that you don't see, Cam was definitely spouting on a lot of his hot takes, and I was just
I think for like probably 40 minutes straight, it was just hot take after hot take.
It was just hot take after hot take, and me playing sound effects. Like,
exactly, and that was so much fun.
We should have just used that for like our little 40-minute blooper reel of
I know. I wonder if he still has that footage because that'd be a good thing just to upload for fun.
Yes, that was something.
Mm-hmm.
Jared's in the building. What's going on,
What's up, Jared?
Always good to see you here. Have fun with that. Roast Fest edition, Madam Web. It's going to be a roast fest.
It's going to be a roast fest, and I'm so ready for it.
Should have been there for the freaking Meg 2 roast fest. Like, that was despite how much I fucking hate the movie, the roast fest was fun. Like,
I bet, yeah.
But I can't. But that's still not gonna. I'm not gonna hide the fact of how terrible the Meg 2 is. Like, I'm not gonna.
You can have fun with bad movies, and that's the best part about bad movies, in my opinion.
Unless they're ones where you're just like, I can't sit through this, otherwise my brain's just gonna go.
Exactly. Those are the worst type where you're just suffering.
Pool Man.
Haven't seen it. I think. What did Chris Pine do that one? Direct it, I think.
He wrote, directed, and starred in the movie.
Huh. Yeah, I heard terrible things about it.
It premiered at Toronto last year, and apparently half the audience walked out of it.
Dang.
And after watching the movie, I see why.
Huh.
Interesting. I see why. And I'm actually still proud of my Letterboxd review. I did the same thing I did with Founders Day, where it's Mommy, we want the Big Lebowski. We have the Big Lebowski at home. The Big Lebowski at home blank is Pool Man. Like,
that's good.
Because the one I did for Founders Day was Mommy, we want Screamin' Thanksgiving. We have Screamin' Thanksgiving at home. Screamin' Thanksgiving at home blank. Because that's what Founders Day is. It's just diet Screamin' Thanksgiving. Like, but other than that, yeah, fuck that movie.
Haven't seen it, and I don't really plan on it. So
even if Gavin's going to convince you to watch it, then you're just like, oh, no thanks.
Yeah. I mean, we know the movies I like to watch in my free time. So
hence your name.
Yeah, and then everything surrounding me. Oh yeah,
definitely. The shirt you're wearing, like
my chair, even my chair's comics, like.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we know your taste, my good sir.
Yep.
Let's see. Judd's in the building. What's going on, Judd? Good to see you. How would you rank the original members of the Avengers? I think I'd probably put Hulk at number 1, I think.
Yeah, I would put Iron Man at 1. I would go from 6. I would go from worst to best. I think I would go Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man.
There you go. It's a good list. Kenny Sparks is in the building. What's up, Kenny?
Hey.
Good to see you, buddy. I got to get you on the show soon, bro. Definitely need to. So, this is so my first question is usually the question I like to start off with because I actually like to hear people's answers about this personally. What was your worst movie theater experience that you've had so far in your life?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Like one where you're just like where people are being so disruptive to a point where you're just like, I want to just leave right now and then just go to another screening of it or something. Like,
so I don't really know because my theater's pretty good at like the policies and everything. Because like even a group of teens got kicked out of when I saw Madam Web for the second time in theaters. A group of teens got kicked out for being on their phones the whole time. But gosh, I'm trying to think because usually I don't really have too bad of experiences. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Godzilla from 2014.
All right.
Simply because, gosh, I was 6 when that came out. Um, and I was really excited because me and Gav both loved Godzilla, and the only showing was late at night. And so we went there and we kept falling asleep because it was late. And so we had to leave and didn't even get to see the movie until years later.
Jesus, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's not good.
But yeah, I
Um,
tend to have pretty good theater experiences, which I'm really happy about.
let's see. Oh, Kenny has a good one. Says I was in the theater for Napoleon. That movie's a stinker, by the way. But well, I'll read the rest of this comment. And someone was playing music on their phone, and I confronted them and say, "Is it too Is it too loud, sir? What?" Confronted them, and they said, "Is it too loud?" Oh my
What?
god.
Why? Why are they playing music in a theater?
Don't worry, I actually had that kind of situation. Not in regards to music playing, but in regards to phone use. So a couple weeks back, I might have told the story before, but again, just for the hell of it, if you guys have not heard this story, I'm going to tell it right now. So you're welcome for this. So a couple weeks back, I did go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I saw it a little bit later because I was on vacation for my birthday. So I got to go see it on a Wednesday night, and there's this family of like 6 or 7 sitting in front of me, and one of them was not paying attention to the film whatsoever. How do I know that? Because she was playing on her phone on iMessage games pretty much for a lot of the film.
That's just straight up disrespectful. There were a lot of people on their phones when I went to see Imaginary, but me and Gav were having a good time watching it, and so we didn't really notice it too much, except one person, like 2 rows ahead of us, had their brightness all the way up. And we're just texting the whole time.
That's just disrespectful.
I know. Like, come on. Like
I know
Imaginary.
and the girl's brightness that was sitting in front of me wasn't like beaming light to behind us or anything, but every single time her phone screen came on, like I got distracted. Like it kept my face kept darting towards her phone screen because it kept distracting me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, like Imaginary sucks, but like, don't be on your phone. If you don't want to pay attention, just leave.
Exactly. So what I did was, since one of my friends works at the theater, I got up, went downstairs, got out, and then told them, "Hey, there's this one person that's sitting in front of me that is playing on their phone and not paying attention to the movie." So I take them up to this. So I'm sitting in the row that I am sitting the row in front of the back row is where I'm sitting. So
Okay.
Our theater is not really that big. Like, let me just clear that up. It's not that big. So I lead her to it, and I show them, and I show her, "Hey, this is the person that's playing on her phone." So she talks to that person about it, and and it never happened again for the rest of the movie.
That's great. Good
And
on you for
I think it
telling
was like
on them.
halfway through the movie. Like it was halfway through Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I was just like, "You're ruining the movie for me. Like,
Yep.
what are you doing? Like, do you want me to leave and then do you want me to go get somebody to get you kicked out?"
I know. Like, if you don't want to get kicked out, but you're going to be on your phone, like that's just kind of weird. Like, just don't be on your. It's really not that hard to turn your phone off for a couple hours and just watch a movie.
Exactly. After the previews are done, because I usually keep them in my notes for what previews I see for every movie. After those are done, phone's off.
Yeah.
Like my
I
phone
usually
is shut down. Like, 'cause I don't
usually
have
when I sit in the theater, I don't usually ever like turn my phone completely off. I just make sure it's on silent and I like tuck it away. Um, but like usually I just don't have my phone out during the previews just because I'm talking to Gav about the trailer that we're seeing. But No, I don't have my phone out in the theater because I don't like when I see people having their phone out. So why would I do it?
Exactly. So like, I mean, even when I like the first time we went with Justin, I was like, bro, make sure you have your phone away because I don't want to be distracted by your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but yeah, him and I got that cleared up, so we're good. But then again, though, like whenever, like if I ever go with somebody else that wants to go to a movie, I ask them. I just want to ask them politely. Like if I go on a date to a movie or something like that. If I go on a date, I'd be like, hey, I really want to watch this movie, so can you make sure you please have your phone off
Mm-hmm.
so that way I can watch the movie?
That actually reminded me, yesterday when I saw Garfield, there were like, for the first like 20 minutes of the movie, there was probably like a good third of the theater just on their phones, and it was like the parents of kids
Oh,
that they
fuck
brought.
off.
Yep. And then thankfully after like the first 20 minutes, they like put their phones away, but I was like, guys, seriously? Like, come on.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck those parents because they're terrible parents for letting their kids have their phones out.
Oh no, the kids didn't have their phones out, the parents were on their phones.
Oh, fuck. That's even worse.
Yeah.
You're there to watch a movie.
I know. If you don't want to pay attention to the movie that you're taking your kids to, don't take your kids to a movie and just have them watch something at home.
Yeah, but like at the same time, they're just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go to a movie. I don't care what it is. I'm just gonna go on my phone. I'm gonna kick your seat. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Like,
Yep, it's just like, no, just sit in your seat, eat your snacks if you have them, and just watch the movie.
like I'll turn over and whisper to Justin a couple times, like from here
Same.
and there. But that's just because we're having a discussion about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not being like, oh yeah, hey, you want to get that girl over here to go on a date or something like that, like shit like that, you know?
Yeah, you're having quick discussions about the movie that you're watching.
Exactly. So, yeah, just be more respectful. So, basically, our case in point: be more respectful about the people around you in the theater,
And just have proper theater etiquette, because they really don't ask a lot of you.
like they're not asking a lot. They're asking you to put your phones away and pay attention to the screen and that kind of stuff. They're not asking you to do anything that hard.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, because like I love the fact that they have like that when a lot of the showings I go to have theater etiquette, because like for all of the showings I've gone to for the Spider-Man movie so far, for the re-releases, even when I saw the original Tobey Maguire one, that movie's 22 years old. No one in that theater had their phone out like at all. Everyone was just everyone was having a good time watching the movie, and because like the theater is a place of peace and excitement, and when you're invested in a movie, you're having a good time, and so just do that.
Exactly. It's not that hard, people. It's not that hard. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Napoleon's not good. It's pretty bad.
I did not see it because I just did not want to.
Yeah, and you saved yourself some time, good sir. You saved yourself 2.5 hours of your life.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, another one that really does come to mind is when I saw Firestarter. To clarify, the 2022 version of Firestarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started that one and I fell asleep when it came out. But Gav watched it and he just hated it.
Yeah, it's bad. It is bad. So there was these like school age students, like at least I think they were like high school age students that were sitting in the back row, and they didn't care about the people around them. How do I know that? Because they were talking completely out loud. And during the last 30 minutes or so of the movie, there's this guy that got on his phone and started texting, and I was just like, oh fuck. I think even a few of the school students even got kicked out of the theater.
Good. Yeah.
I'm like I literally wanted to go up to one of those theater managers. It was an older dude. I wanted to go up to him and be like, "Thank you."
Mm-hmm. I love the employees at my theater because we have, I don't know if you have this at your theater, but we have like greeters that like are before, because like
No, we
I
don't
have
have those.
a big theater chain, and there's this old gentleman who's worked there like forever, and whenever he's like checking tickets and like just talking to people, he's just talking about the movie that they're watching. So like when we went to see The Strangers, the old guy took our tickets and he was like, "Oh yeah, and make sure you stay until after the credits because there's a little scene for the next one." And I was like, that's just really cool of people to do when they're like engaged in it, like because that guy doesn't have to be. He can just check the tickets and just move on, but he's like choosing to engage with the theater goers.
That's good. I like to see that. But I don't know, man. Like, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But thankfully, good. I think there was this guy like at the last like 40 to 30 minutes or so of Furiosa that walked out on my first viewing. And I was like, well, then why'd you even bother buying your fucking ticket then?
If you're gonna stay for the whole movie and leave within the last like third, like what's the point? Like just stay. You might as well.
Because there was these old ladies that walked out at like the last 30 minutes of dumb money. Like, I'm not
If
joking.
there's 30 minutes
It was
left,
me and my mom. It was me and my mom, and then these two older ladies that were sitting in our row. They left at like the last 30 minutes.
if there's 30 minutes left, you might as well stay.
Like they were just they just left and then they never came back, and I was like, what the fuck? That's funny. Like, oh god, dude. Like, again, if you pay your money, just stay in the theater.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah, just God, dude. Sometimes, man, people just love to waste their money.
yep.
Like, not even knowing that they're not going to get that time back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, if it was like me for tarot, like I know, like if I walked into that theater, I knew I wasn't ever going to get that 90 minutes back.
Yep. And yeah, you're smart waiting for Netflix because it's not worth the price of going to a theater for it.
I was going to use one of my coupons because the coupons I had I still have not used.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was the reason why I was going to think about seeing tarot, but then I was like, I got so busy during that weekend. I was just like, you know what? I got better things to do.
Yep.
Because the only two coupons I used for this year were for Madam Web, deservedly so,
Fair enough. Yeah.
and Imaginary.
Also fair.
I didn't know, honestly. I actually should have used one for The Strangers. I'm sorry, dude. I should have used one for The Strangers.
No, I get it. People don't like the movie. I'm not gonna fault them for it. I get why people don't like it.
I mean, I certainly don't, but I don't know what the next one I'm going to use my coupon is going to be for. I'm trying to like put one into my mind that I think will probably work. But honestly, I have no idea. Not Deadpool. Like, I'll say that I'm giving my money to that.
Yeah.
Like,
That movie is because the pre-sale for the movie is for AMC and Fandango history. It's the highest pre-sold R-rated movie like of all time for the first day ticket sales, and the movie's already tracking a $200 million opening weekend.
oh man, that's a
So
lot.
I'm hoping Marvel gets a success on their hands because the Marvels bombed horribly.
Well, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania didn't do very well either.
Yeah, I think that movie was barely a success, but it made some money.
I know Guardians did make a lot of money though, which is good.
Yeah,
Like,
good, because that one was the best MCU movie of that year.
1,000%, like no question. Like,
And I like all three of them, but like Guardians was just the best one. But you know, James Gunn is just a great director, so of course.
I mean, it's no surprise like how good that movie was anyway. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, dude, James Gunn's great.
Yeah.
Like, so Okay, how about this question? What movie? This is another one I actually like to hear people's thoughts on because this is another very interesting question from me. Is what's a movie that you were sitting there and you were just like, oh my god, dude, this is so bad. I could just either walk out or turn it off. Like,
Okay. So this was back in. I already know my answer for this. So this was back in 2021. I went to see it
oh,
with my mom. It was the Dear Evan Hansen movie. Um,
oh.
we made it about halfway through, and because I was able to see the stage version of the show live, and I loved it. I really liked the musical. I love the songs in it, and I saw the movie, and I looked over to my mom like halfway through, and I was like, "Can we please leave? This movie sucks." And she was like, "Yeah, it does suck, but we paid good money for it, so we're gonna stay and sit it out to the end." And but yeah, I was not wanting to sit in that theater any longer.
Can't blame you because the movie's not good at all. I mean, they basically just treat Evan Hansen in that movie like a dick. So
hmm When it's a little, I think it's better in the stage show, but it was also weird that they brought Ben Platt back to play a high schooler when he's in his 30s. I don't
don't
know,
pull me on that one. I'll just say that.
but
um,
whatever. But yeah, that was a movie where I was just like, I really want to leave because I was not having a good time watching it.
my answer is crystal clear in regards to movies I wanted to walk out of. It's pretty crystal clear. It's Imaginary
Fair, super
because
super fair.
after that twist, I almost walked out. Like because that twist made no sense. Like
And it still doesn't. Like even having
like
thought about it a bit
if
more.
people are like, here, I'm gonna make an analysis video and I'm gonna tell you how it actually does make sense. You can go fuck yourself
It
because
literally makes no sense whatsoever.
active ventriloquism. Oh, the bear's not actually there. How did the teenage boyfriend mess with it, and how was Chauncey the bear fucking with him?
Because they didn't think. Because they didn't think. I think they added the plot twist like after the. I feel like it was a post production decision to just do it because they were like,
I
this would
felt
be
like it
cool to have a twist because it made no sense with the rest of the movie.
that like, or it felt like it was one of those instances where they were just writing the movie as they were shooting. Like
Yeah, definitely.
okay, yeah, twist. Oh yeah, the bear's not there. It's a figment of everybody's imagination except these two. Uh, oh yeah, she's having some like kind of like active ventriloquism. Any ideas? Where's my hookers? Like shit
It
like that, you know.
Imaginary is so bad.
You can't blame me for having it as my worst film of the year because that's the film that pissed me off the most.
I can't blame you. No.
But I don't know, man. I mean, maybe when I watched Harrow, that one might give it a three-way tie for worst film of the year, like
Yeah,
possibly a three-way tie.
I thought Tarot was way worse than Imaginary.
But the thing is, though, I'm saying like three-way tie because like right now it's kind of a tie between Founders Day and Imaginary for the worst of the year for me. It's a tie currently.
I think Tarot's going to be up there for sure.
Like, do you think it's gonna land like in between, or is it gonna land right behind Founders Day?
I think it's going to be like I think it's going to not even be tied. I think it's just going to be your worst.
I bro, I'm sorry, but there's no way that Tarot's worse than Imaginary, dude. There's no way.
I like even like taken out of the fact that was laughing at Imaginary. I think Tarot is objectively the worst film. There's one positive I can think of for Tarot.
That's the creature designs, isn't it?
Yep, that is the one good thing I can think of. There's cutaway blood. It's crappy. It's terribly written. It's terrible. The acting is so horrible. Like compared to it makes Imaginary look like a Martin Scorsese film.
Yep. But this is currently my top 10 worst at the moment right now. So if I can remember, because number 10 right now is Madam Web, deservedly so. It's terrible, but My number 10 spot is usually saved for the so bad it's a good movie of the year, like the ultimate one. Like no matter what movie I rate lower than that, that is still not going to be beat out for number 10, like without question.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, I'm sorry, The Strangers Chapter 1. It's
fair enough.
Terrible. Number 8 is Role Play, a movie that it stars Kaylee Cuoco and David Oyelowo.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that.
It's an Amazon Prime action comedy, and it is not worth it by any means. It's pretty fucking terrible. Like,
ooh.
Number 7, Night Swim.
Fair. I couldn't finish Night Swim.
That was the first movie of the year that I watched, and it got off to a rocky start, but thankfully The Beekeeper saved my life.
Yep, which is such a fun movie.
I don't get the hate for The Beekeeper. I really don't. I don't get
It's
the hate.
just another fun action Jason Statham movie.
Is it dumb? Is it over the top? Yes.
But are those good things? They're great for the movie. I don't know. The movie just worked.
Yeah, for sure. Number 6. This one's the new addition to my worst list. Pool Man. Chris Pine, if you want to direct more movies, please make something good next, because this was a terrible, terrible start for directing, dude. It was a terrible start. I love Chris Pine as an actor. I really do. I love Chris Pine. I mean, I love him as much as the next person does. I love Chris Pine. But the fact that like this is the route he decided to go with a movie like this, and him not really accepting the negative reviews for it, I'm just like, okay, you lost me, buddy.
Yeah, I saw something that he was talking about when the negative reviews came out, because he was like, yeah, I gave the movie another rewatch after all the negative reviews, but I don't know, I still really love the movie.
That honestly sounds a little bit egotistical to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wrote, directed, and starred in it. You're probably going to have some bias towards it.
But at the same time, that is pretty egotistical.
Oh, it's purely egotistical, I think.
What's this fucker doing here?
Wait a minute.
Hey, dude. What's up, Gavin? Yeah, number 5 for me is the American Society of Magical Negroes, aka Racist 101. It's uncomfortably racist. Yeah, if people are saying, "Oh, it's not racist," you can shut the fuck up.
Glad I did not check it out.
But once you watch, like, if you did watch that movie, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is actually pretty racist."
Yeah, I almost saw it too. Me and my mom almost saw it because we watched the trailer and we're like, that looks pretty good. Then all the reviews came out and I was like, Mom, we might not want to go support this movie. And we didn't.
Yeah, there you go. Bro, I hate you. I hate you.
I'm excited. I'm so hyped to rewatch that movie. Let's go.
I'm kidding, Gavin, bro. I'm kidding. Totally fine. But I did not like Strangers Chapter 1 at all.
I get it. Makes sense.
Number 4, Miller's Girl. I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's very forgettable. Number 3, Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. One of the cheapest looking animated films of all time. Like, have you seen the animation on that thing?
Unfortunately.
It looks cheap, doesn't it?
It looks horrible. Like, it might be visually the worst looking animated movie I've seen. Well, I haven't even seen it. I started it, and I was begging Gavin to turn it off. He was like, no, I'm going to finish it for a review. And I was like, okay. And I just, like, curled up into a ball and went on my phone to avoid it.
If you think that's the worst looking animated film of all time, you obviously have not seen Food Fight.
I actually know exactly what movie you're talking about. I watched videos on that. Ugh.
It's nightmare inducing.
Yeah, I just don't count it as the worst one I've seen because I haven't seen the movie. But if I watched the movie, it would be.
Yeah, it's. aside from one good song in the movie, that's basically the only like slight thing I can give it for because it's pretty fucking horrible. Um, and I already said my 2 and 1. 2 is Founders Day. Number 1 is Imaginary. So
Yeah.
that kind of just comes down to it. But on the bright side, I did watch Boy Kills World the other night, and that movie, that was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's Bill Skarsgård, right?
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård's in that movie. He is what a badass. Like, he is a badass.
I saw the trailer for that and thought it looked really fun, so I'm probably gonna have to give that a watch soon.
It's bonkers as hell, though, dude. It is bonkers. Yeah. I know. That's sad. I was going to think about seeing that in theaters. Because, there was nothing else I really wanted to go see that weekend. Well, I was working that weekend, but the weekend after, I was saying, like, when, like, the Fall Guy came out, they were only showing, like, 10 o'clock showings, and I was like, damn it! I wanted to go see that. But thankfully, I paid the $20 to watch it on digital, and I loved it. Like maybe give me some time to think about it, and hell, that might even be in my top 10.
Nice.
Because that was how much fun I thought the movie was. Like I literally my 10 through 12 on my list are are all over the top and crazy action movies, which are Roadhouse, The Beekeeper, Boy Kills World.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, Roadhouse was great. I really liked Roadhouse.
It's dumb as hell, but it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for Roadhouse too.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's coming back for the lead role. Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Bro, like when I saw Jake Gyllenhaal like in a Roadhouse, I was like, bro, that man is jacked.
Uh-huh. It was crazy. But he was awesome in it.
I mean, that movie's the shit. Like, and The Beekeeper, you guys already know my thoughts on The Beekeeper. I talk about it too. I talk about it so much on my channel. I don't know. It's one of those movies.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for this one. That actually kind of play into your kind of profession on your YouTube channel. Okay, so I want to ask you this, since because not only are you a comic book movie nerd, but you're also a comic book nerd in general.
Yes. Something I take great pride in.
Yes, I mean, hence your name. So
yeah.
So my question is, what is one comic book film? So I'm going to ask you 2 parts of this question. So First part is, what is one comic book film that you thought was entirely not accurate to the comics at all?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. Because there's actually quite a bit that change a lot in terms of adaptations.
But I'm saying in regards to the vibe of the comics, the vibe that the comics give you, that was not shown in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with Ooh, gosh, this is a tough question, but a lot of the some of the Black Adam comics I've read were very serious and very brooding, and the movie was way too goofy to work with the character of Black Adam. I felt like I still enjoy Black Adam enough, but that one kind of failed at matching the vibe of the comics and the vibe of the character. But also and I have a soft place, so I have a special place in my heart for the original X-Men trilogy, but those kind of shit on the comics a bit, with the costume design of them, they're all wearing black leather, and the X-Men, I have a comic right here of New Mutants. Super bright,
Right.
super bright, vibrant comic. And it's so serious. And of course, X-Men does work with seriousness, but like Cyclops was really poorly done. Rogue was poorly done. Jean Grey was all right, but a lot of the vibes for X-Men was off. Oh, and Madam Web, like none of that was really like the
Yeah.
comics all that much. But that was a
Let's
great
answer this
question.
question before I get to the second part of the question. Do you guys think that Roadhouse would have done well if it had a theatrical release? Yes and no.
I think it would have. I think it would have done fine. I think it would have just barely been a success.
Like a slight success, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think it would have done. I don't think it would have crushed it at the box office, but I think it would have done well enough.
Yeah, like because I mean, certain action films have actually been doing very well at the box office. Like,
I actually wonder what the budget of Roadhouse was. We'll look that up. Roadhouse 2024.
okay, I was about to say because if you just searched up Roadhouse budget, you'd probably just be in the budget of the original Roadhouse.
So the movie had between a $60 million and an $85 million budget. I feel like it could have made. I feel like it would have done all right at the box office. I don't think it would have done great, but I think it would have just barely been a success.
I think it probably would have at least kind of surpassed its budget, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you think of certain films, like certain action films that are actually very low budget, like you're surprised that they're actually as well done as they are. Like, to be completely honest with you, I mean, the Crank. I can tell you this: the Crank movies are actually pretty high budget. Like,
yeah.
So, and that's surprising to me with how the movie is filmed. Like, that's actually kind of surprising that it was actually pretty high budget.
Yeah.
I'm saying in regards to standards back then, because now like high budget standards are like $300-400 million.
Yeah.
Could have flopped, but the legs might have been. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it. I think it would have been a toss up whether it would have been a success or not. It might have been okay. It might have done okay simply from the name Roadhouse, but you'd never really know anymore with what's going to be a box office hit or not.
You know what? You would have been seeing a lot of elderly people to go see Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Because like, oh yeah, it's the original again. But then they look at the poster and they're like, oh wait, no, this is not Patrick Swayze.
But yeah. Just bring on Roadhouse 2. Even maybe a small theatrical run for Roadhouse 2 might be fun.
Yeah, there you go. But so I'm gonna ask you the opposite of the question I just asked. What is the comic book film that you thought was very accurate to the comics in regards to the vibe and that kind of thing? Like the vibe of the comics was matched well in the movie.
Easily the Deadpool films.
There we go.
They're done so freaking well. Ryan Reynolds is perfect. I think both of the directors for the first two movies has done a great job capturing the vibe of the Merc with the Mouth. But yeah, that's just the easiest pick is Deadpool.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds definitely captures what the character is like in the comics. So I mean,
yeah, he's one of the only actors to not have to audition for a Marvel role. He was just picked.
I mean, he knows his shtick in regards to his humor.
Mm-hmm. Which is a wonder why they sewed his mouth shut in X-Men Origins.
That's why people were going nuts about that because they shut his mouth in X-Men Origins.
Yeah, but they fixed it thankfully with two great Deadpool films.
And hopefully a great third one.
Mm-hmm. So, and it looks to be, I think it looks great. So, I mean, it definitely matches the vibe of the first two, which is good with it being under Disney now.
And thankfully, it doesn't seem like Disney was interfering.
Yeah. So. Based on what I've heard from like the cast and crew so far, is Disney just let them do another Deadpool movie that they wanted to do, which is great.
That's my question. What genius came up with that shit?
Actually,
funny. Couldn't speak.
Funny story about that. X-Men Origins was filmed during a writer's strike. So when Ryan came on set, he didn't have a script to look at. He was just told to improvise all of his lines for like the opening of the film. And so they just decided to shut his mouth for later in the film so they didn't have to write any dialogue.
You can tell it was made during a writer's strike. Like, you can fucking tell.
Yep.
Movies like that and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, you can tell were made during writer's strikes when you watch them, because they're not very well made.
Nope.
Not very well performed. So, I mean, mainly Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, but because X-Men Origins Wolverine is kind of hilarious, terrible.
I would say Origins falls under so bad it's good.
Most definitely, because I mean, when Wolverine just starts shredding a little bit, I'm just like, oh my fucking god, this is so dumb.
It's fucking insane, and I love it for being off the walls. It feels like a '90s comic book in the best and worst ways.
But except the decade for that was just far too gone.
Mm-hmm. There's no way, looking at it, X-Men Origins released a year after Iron Man. Like,
you would think by that point that they finally got their shit together after Iron Man, but then it's just like, you get a movie like X-Men Origins Wolverine, and they're just like, nope, we're still shitting the bed.
Yep.
So, I can't believe I just said that.
Well, it's fitting.
I guess. Because, I mean, if you think about something like Catwoman from 2004, they just completely shit the bed with that movie.
Yeah. That's one that doesn't... I haven't even seen it, but I know it doesn't match the vibe of the comics in any way. It's not even
even the costume looks far off from the Catwoman costume.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible.
Like, it's just Halle Berry wearing a cat mask and her bra.
Yep.
With leather pants.
Yep.
That's all it is.
It's not even a costume. Like,
she just showed up to set one day and she was like, "Hey, can I just do this for the Catwoman movie?" And they're just like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" They don't.
Whatever. No one really cares about this. I mean.
And then the movie comes out and is critically panned. I think it's at like a 9%. I think on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that one still holds the title for worst comic book film for me of all time. Like,
fair.
It's that bad. I mean, hell, Captain America 1990 could possibly take that spot sometime down the line.
Morbius. I would personally go with. I can't believe I didn't think of this one with one that doesn't match the vibe at all. Is Fan Four Stick?
Oh, absolutely not. Like,
that is my personal least favorite comic book movie. That and Wonder Woman 1984 are my two least favorites.
But at the same time, I kind of find Fan Four Stick to be kind of so bad it's funny. Because it's like, they had a good thing going for it. Like the first hour, like they had a good thing going for it. It's just when they get their powers, it's like the movie just takes a gigantic shit on your face.
Yeah, my biggest problem is that it's just really not the Fantastic Four. Because I actually grabbed a Fantastic Four book that I had right by me. Is like, look at how colorful and vibrant it is, and like Josh Trank just didn't really care about, like, look at this page. It's insane. Like, I don't think Josh Trank didn't really care about making a Fantastic Four movie. I think he just wanted to do
He did, but he said that it wasn't his fault for the way the film turned out. So.
Yeah, but even then, I think body horror could have worked. I just don't know if that's the best route for the Fantastic Four. But maybe if we got his version of the movie, it would change. But I have doubts.
But he kind of got canceled after what he said online. So for some odd reason, Catwoman 2004 is absolutely awful. Fan Four Stick was bad, but not Catwoman level. I agree.
I have not seen Catwoman, and I probably never will, unless I think of a fun video idea for it. But
Well, I mean, the movie's turning 20 this year, so
true. I don't know. I got too much good stuff to watch.
I'm not gonna make you watch it. Like you're like the only way you're gonna watch is that it is against your own will. So
Yep.
like it's like God's coming down to tell you just to watch Catwoman 2004 for its anniversary.
Yep. I actually do wonder when that video was released.
I actually agree with this statement right here. The first hour of Fantastic Four stick isn't bad, but once they get their powers, the movie goes downhill. I do agree.
I didn't like the first hour of it because I also think the movie's really poorly miscast. And I just wasn't vibing with the cast of it. But the first half is way better than the second half. And another thing that the movie fails at is it's meant to be Marvel's first family, like their family team. Ben Grimm and Sue Storm say one line to each other in the entire movie.
That does not work. Like,
I think the original two Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s are way better than Fan Four Stick.
I can agree with that, but that doesn't mean they're good movies.
Those two are guilty pleasures of mine. I grew up on the original Fantastic Four, so I got a special place for that one. But neither of them are good movies.
Like they're not. Like, especially with Rise of the Silver Surfer, that one's not very good. Like,
I actually prefer Rise of the Silver Surfer to the original.
That one I just thought it was just sequelitis, in all honesty.
Fair, yeah.
But other than, I can kind of agree in regards to the first one. The first one's a guilty pleasure. Like, it's certainly bad, but it wasn't like. But again, it's not Catwoman 2004 levels of bad. Like, I'll just say that. But other than that, like, it's not good per se. Like, it really isn't good.
They're not, and they're not well acted. They're not well shot. There's not like any.
Like,
really
I can
great.
just think they're better shot than most modern action movies nowadays.
Yeah, but they're not good movies. But I have fun.
I'm saying like mostly with the first Fantastic Four. It's actually a pretty well shot movie.
Yeah, Fantastic. Rise of the Silver Surfer kind of looks like a TV show, but
that's why I prefer the first one because it actually looks like a movie.
Yep.
Because it actually didn't even look like it was it didn't even look like it was piss poor filming.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was actually filmed pretty well.
Yeah.
But if you look at something like I'm trying to think. If you think of something like Resident Evil: The Final Chapter or something like that, you know you're in big trouble because that is just the worst filmed action film I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. Okay.
And there's so many jump cuts. Like there are so many jump cuts. Like there's like one instance like where it goes the jump cuts, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's insane.
Like, and it's so nauseating to a point where you're just like,
Yep.
Like, tell me what's more nauseating, like iPhone camera moving around constantly, or just jump cut editing?
I would say jump cuts.
Jump cuts are way more nauseating because they're just like you don't know what you're watching is even real.
Yep.
Because there are some action movies that are filmed that like have some moments where they're filmed on an iPhone. They look much better, like because they're actually being shot. Like they're not being like doing like piss poor editing in the editing room. Like somebody just got drunk and they were just like, "Yeah, okay,
Exactly."
Like that. Like that's what I felt like with Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Like somebody just got drunk in the editing room and they were just like.
Yep.
But if you look at something like Monkey Man, like the way it's like directed, like look, I can understand some of the camera work being nauseating for some people, but I'm just saying, compare that to the editing of Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Monkey Man like beats it out easily because it's actually filmed. It's not just jump cuts.
Yeah,
like, it's actually like filmed action sequences. I still hold true to it. I still love Monkey Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I like that it was a more thoughtful action film. It's not just nonstop action, because sometimes nonstop action can be a little bit too much.
Yeah, it wasn't just action for the sake of action. There was purpose to it all.
Yeah, so I mean, and if anybody's wondering, I'm gonna actually make this. I'm actually gonna get this guy to do a watch along with me on this one. Like,
Okay, yeah.
because
I'd
again,
actually be down to rewatch that movie. I wasn't a big fan of it the first time around, and I want to see how it holds up a second time.
I think if you watch it at home with like all the with all that moving camera kind of shenanigans in the film, I think it's actually done much better at home.
Yeah, that'll be a good one for a watch along.
I think it's done much better at home than it is in the theater, because for the theater it can be a pretty rough experience for some people, because there are people that I know that have motion sickness that had to like completely like look down and not even pay attention to the movie.
I don't even really have motion sickness, and it had me feeling nauseous, which was weird.
But then again, yeah, like there was a lot of production problems with that movie.
Yeah,
because Dev Patel broke 2 toes, he got an eye infection, and he broke his hand during filming.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot that they had to spend on with him, like for recovery. Like,
yeah.
So, and they were also shooting on location. So, and shooting on location is not cheap.
Mm-hmm. It's not at all.
So they couldn't use like IMAX cameras or film cameras or anything like that. Most of the time they either had to use GoPros or iPhones.
Yeah.
For most of the film, and you can tell, but it's not to a point where it's just like, oh yeah, the movie's gotta have a high budget for this kind of shit. No, because Dev Patel had wrote that film for like about 10 years.
Yeah, it's well directed too. I really want to see Dev Patel do more directing, because it was done really well.
Especially the action, like at least it's not just like him just taking down everybody like instantaneously. Like he's actually getting the shit beat out of him.
Mm-hmm. The only action scene I really enjoyed was the final one with like the kitchen and all that. I thought that action scene was awesome, but I just didn't. The shaky cam was too much, and it kind of distracted me from all the other action scenes in the film.
Might have been just the theater experience, like in general, like that might have been the case, but again,
Yeah.
I don't want to speak too soon on that. But the thing is, because again, I'm glad that I'm just glad they didn't just go, oh yeah, he's gonna kick everybody's ass throughout the entire movie. They
didn't make him invincible. Yeah,
like they had some realism to it. Like he's like, we know he's just a guy. Like,
yeah,
and he gets the shit beat out of him at certain points. Like in the bathroom scene, like he got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah.
And that was the action sequence where he broke his hand during filming.
Makes sense.
But after he got back from Jakarta, which was where they had to fly to get the cheap medical, to get because he had to get a screw put in his hand, because of his broken hand. Like, and he said, and the doctor says, like, you cannot put more than a pound or 2 of pressure on the hand, because otherwise it's like pulling a bent nail out of wood, and we will not be able to get it out. Like, so he had to even do some of the action choreography, like some of the action sequences with one hand.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of the fight sequences were just him.
Yeah.
Like
gotta give him props. Gotta give him props for what he was able to accomplish.
Yeah, man. And that film was originally going to go to Netflix, but
I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad Dev Patel got his moment to shine on the big screen with a film that is like that he was able to direct and everything like that.
Because Jordan Peele bought it through his company, Monkey Paw Productions, which is partnered with Universal. So, and I'm so proud of Jordan Peele for doing that, because if Monkey Man was just released on Netflix, it would have been one of those films where it was like one of those like one of those streaming movies that kind of floated under the radar. But the fact that the fact that he bought it and it was put on the big screen, I thought was even better.
Yeah. I have massive respect for Jordan Peele, but he's also just a great filmmaker. So,
I mean, Get Out, Us, and Nope.
The only one of his that I haven't seen yet is Get Out, but I know Gav really wants to watch that one with me soon. But I liked Us, but I love Nope. I think Nope is fantastic.
Do you agree that Us can sometimes fall apart a little bit with his logic?
100%.
Because quite a bit of its logic towards the third act makes no sense.
Exactly. But I love Nope. I think Nope is fantastic.
Yes, it's throwback Spielberg is basically what it is. It's
Exactly.
throwback Spielberg, but except it's in the hands of Jordan Peele,
which is just awesome.
Yes. I kind of want to watch that one again now for some reason. I don't know why. So, all right, let's go for this question next. What is a comic book character that you think deserves a more proper adaptation to the big screen?
Oh, okay. More proper adaptation.
I feel like their last adaptation wasn't very good, and you want them to get a proper presence on the big screen.
Can I go with a character that has had 2 adaptations so far?
Go ahead.
Cyclops.
Mm.
He was done so dirty in the X-Men movies, and I need a really great Cyclops. Like, no spoilers, but in X-Men 97, Cyclops was awesome because, like, to the point, I've seen some of the X-Men movies with Gab, and he was like, Cyclops sucks. And we watched just the first episode of X-Men, and Gab was like, I had no idea Cyclops was that cool. And I'm like, yeah, because none of the movies displayed that. So I need Cyclops to get a proper live action adaptation that just fully utilizes how awesome of a character he is.
Exactly. I mean, and I want a proper Morbius movie.
Yeah, definitely. One
this time.
Morbius is a great character in the comics. I think he's really fun, especially
dude, he's a vampire that eats people into bloody smithereens.
We should have gotten
display that in the movie.
We should have gotten a rated R Morbius. I don't even think we needed a Morbius movie, but Morbius works so well when he's working off of Spider-Man, and they didn't give us that, and it was dumb. And like one of my biggest problems with Morbius, besides it just being terrible, is the fact that they wanted to make a movie about a villain, but they wanted to make him a good guy. So they created a new character to be the villain. If you have to go that far, maybe you shouldn't make this character a hero.
Exactly. So, and yeah, fuck Morbius. That movie's it's the worst.
Yep, it's horrible.
All right, and I don't want to ask this one because this might be an interesting one for a lot of people. Because again, this is another question I might stick with for the live show now. What is a comedy movie where you just had a complete straight face throughout the entire movie, like you did not laugh one time?
Ooh, gosh. Oh, The Holdovers.
Oh, damn.
Yep. I really, really dislike The Holdovers.
Moving on.
Yep.
Because I can tell you right now, Mike's probably gonna blow up.
Yep, probably.
If he was here right now, he'd blow up on you.
Yep.
I'd say honestly, some of those Freeberg and Seltzer parody movies that just completely had me a straight face. Disaster Movie is the one that had me have a straight face.
I've only seen 2. I don't know if it's the same people, but Scary Movie and Superhero Movie, I both really like. I think they're both really funny.
Scary Movie 1, 2, and 3 I love. Like, those are hilarious movies.
I've only seen the first Scary Movie, and I think it's hilarious.
The first 3 I think are the best. The fourth one, it's okay, but 5 is terrible.
Gav's seen the first 3, and he only likes the first one.
I think the second one's actually my favorite of the bunch. I think
nice,
the second one's the best. And a superhero movie, it's fine. It's got some funny moments, but other than that, pretty forgettable movie.
Fair enough, yeah.
But shit like Disaster Movie, where it's nothing but just terrible references, like, and just cringe-inducing jokes, you're just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I can say this for a movie trailer, though, because I've tried to watch this trailer a few times, and every single time, and it's a newer film, by the way, it's a newer film, every single time I watch this trailer, I never even smirk, chuckle, or laugh.
Well, one.
Have you heard of this movie called Not Another Church Movie?
Oh, yep. We've talked about this a bit, actually.
If you guys know what we're talking about this abomination-looking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where Kevin Daniels is parodying Tyler Perry. And he's like, oh, no, it's actually... it's Counselor Ferry. No, it's actually pronounced Harry, Taylor, Harry. The P is silent. I'm just like, oh, fuck off. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
And look who's the one that plays as God. It's fucking Jamie Foxx.
That I think is funny, and Mickey Rourke as the devil I think is funny, but I'm not going to watch the movie. Just the idea of that comes off as funny to me, but I'm not watching the movie.
Even from the trailers, they are not funny. Like, and that's just sad.
Yeah.
Like, they are not even funny. Like, here's like, this morning, God wants me to bring the power to all the women in the world, and then we'll do whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. It was like, God wants you to be pimping. I'm just like, oh, no. Just, like, yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna give the film a fair chance and maybe see if I do laugh. But from the trailer, I did not laugh once. Like, that should tell you something.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty easy to get with laughter. Like, you can get me pretty easily. But when it's something like that, I'm just like...
Oh, a newer one that I also didn't think was that funny was Ricky Stenicki.
Yeah, I didn't care. There was a couple funny moments. Like, give me that.
There were a couple funny bits, but most of it I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it wasn't that funny. I mean, there's good performances. It's well made, and it's got some good laughs, but it feels dated. Honestly.
Yeah, the funniest thing I've seen this year isn't even a movie; it's a show, and it's the new Ted show.
I still have yet to see that. Believe it or not.
Do you like the movies?
Of course. I mean, I love the first one. The second one's not as good, but it's still pretty funny.
The show, in my opinion, is better and funnier than both movies combined.
I'll take your word for it, man. I'll check it out.
I think it's amazing. It's so funny.
But I'm gonna look at my list for the year so far, really quick. Honestly, the funniest movie I've seen this year is The Fall Guy.
Oh yeah, that movie. That's my funniest movie for the year. I freaking love The Fall Guy.
That movie is hilarious.
That movie should have been a massive success at the box office, and it's such a shame it wasn't.
Dead Body on Ice. He was so dead, Gail. He was super dead. That gets me every time, dude. That actually gets me.
It's awesome. I love The Fall Guy.
Here's another comedy that's not funny at all. This piece of shit.
Didn't watch it, and I did not really want to.
I felt like you made your brother suffer through that.
No, I didn't even know he was watching it until after the fact. He was like, you know that Pop-Tarts movie? I was like, yeah. He was like, it was shit.
But at the same time, I felt like the devil put a curse on you to go into his mind and make him watch Unfrosted or something like that.
Oh, probably.
There might be something to it, but again, I'm not gonna speak too soon on it. But at the same time, it's actually kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that shit when I was at work, dude. Like, so that should tell you something.
Yep.
For quite a bit of it, I was just like wanting to just take out my AirPods and just be like,
Yep.
because that movie was actually very irritating. Like, what's another one? Another one I can go to for hilarity, even though it's more like an action film, but it is action comedy. So I kind of have to direct it towards this one, is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I mean, I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan, so that should tell you something.
Yeah.
I mean, and I said, that is not the dog, that is my wife. And then Henry Cavill's laugh is fucking hilarious.
I almost saw that like a week early.
You were probably busy by that time.
Mm-hmm, we were. That's when I went to the Grand Rapids Comic-Con and I met Greg Sipes and all that. But we just ran out of time and couldn't fit the movie into the schedule. But it was still a good day.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to see that movie early, that probably would have been even cooler.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's good. I can't lie, dude. It's actually really good. But then some of my friends are like, "Oh, it's a snooze fest." I'm like, bruh, it's not that bad. Or maybe that just makes me think that you guys just don't like Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, it could be it.
Because I'm actually, even sometime down the line, I'm actually thinking about getting this guy into Guy Ritchie.
Okay, I'm down.
I mean, I don't know if it's like editing style will be for you, because some of it's actually pretty rapid, but it's fast paced. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I think that you might actually like some of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know until I give it a watch, so I'm down to watch it.
So, and if that one doesn't get you into Guy Ritchie, then I'll have to figure out the next one that will probably get you into him. Like,
yeah. I've only seen one Guy Ritchie film, and that was the Aladdin remake, which I actually do quite like a lot.
I mean, it is a Disney remake for sure, but it definitely does have his flavors in there for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I can say that. It does have his flavors in there for sure. But I can just tell you, something like The Covenant is nothing like anything Guy Ritchie ever made. But if you watch something like The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, you're just like, okay, this is definitely a Guy Ritchie movie. Or what's another one? The Gentleman. You can from The Gentleman, you can tell that it's actually you can flat out tell it's a Guy Ritchie movie. And there's some dialogue in that movie that is so offensive. And I'm just like, that's what we're missing in comedy nowadays is being offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Because
another comedy that I didn't laugh at all at was the new Mean Girls.
I laughed a couple times, but at the same time they weren't like belly laughs.
The thing I have to say most about the new Mean Girls, because me and Gav absolutely adore the original Mean Girls movie, and we actually, similar to Dear Evan Hansen, saw the Mean Girls live show for the musical. But I didn't care for the movie because something I always say about it is it was a Mean Girls that was too scared to be mean. It didn't. It took out all of the crude humor and a lot of the offensive jokes, which kind of missed the mark of the movie.
I mean, look, there's lines that we should not cross by any means, but at the same time, again, comedy is supposed to offend you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you watch some of the earlier Seth Rogen stuff, like Pineapple Express, The Interview, stuff like that, those movies are pretty damn offensive. Mainly The Interview. The Interview is actually pretty damn offensive. And if any of you guys don't know, that movie almost put us into war with North Korea. Because that film was supposed to come out in theaters, but North Korea threatened war on us if we released it. So they just released it straight to VOD. Which I think is funny, because they were just like, okay, we won't release it in theaters, only a few people go see it. We'll just let everybody watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck you, North Korea.
Yep.
That's what they were like, and I'm like, I can't blame them because, like, I find it kind of hilarious that they wanted to just threaten war on us because of a movie.
Yep.
Like, were they like that offended? Like, let me ask that question. Were they like that offended to declare war on us?
Right.
That's a good one. The South Park movie, South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, is pretty damn offensive.
That's South Park for you. I actually own a lot of the seasons on DVD, and in my Spanish class at school, my nickname is Eric after Eric Cartman.
How did that come to fruition?
A lot of jokes, that's for sure.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm nicknamed after South Park, and I take honor in that.
Yes. I made you eat your parents. I love Cartman. Like, Kyle, what the F? I'm gonna kill you, Cartman. Kyle, what? Oh, well, you have HIV, huh, Kyle? Guess it's not so funny now, is it? Like, bro, like, there was actually quite a few South Park episodes that caused them a lot of controversy.
Wow.
Because there's also a lot of jokes in South Park that do cross the line.
Yeah.
But that's the point of comedy. It's supposed to cross the line.
Yep.
Like, what's it, like, HIV positive joke from season 12. Let's remember that. Like, I'm not just sure, Butters. I'm HIV positive. That's when Cartman gets infected with HIV.
Yep. South Park is just absolutely crazy.
What about the episode where they go to Pioneer Village? And they have to deal with the worst actors in regards to that village.
On my funny story,
they get taken hostage and they have to stay in character.
Funny story about South Park is when I went on a trip with my band, we went to Hawaii to do some performances and all that. It was there's a lot of fun moments. But when we did when we had downtime in the rooms at night, I was with 3 of my guy friends, and we watched a shit ton of Family Guy and South Park. And
South Park.
It was a blast.
Oh my god. What about have you seen the episode from South Park, Weight Game 4000?
I think I've seen some of it, but not all of it.
It's from the very first season of the show, and it's damn funny. Cartman wins the environmental essay contest, and he wants to bulk up, so he makes his mom get him Weight Gain 4000, and it makes him more obese. And at the end of the episode, he looks like he weighs like 700 pounds. Follow your dreams. You can reach your goals. I'm living proof. Beefcake. Beefcake! God, I love South Park. Besides, let's do this. Like, besides Cartman, who's your favorite character on South Park?
Oh, I don't think I can pick.
I think I'd honestly say Mr. Mackey.
That's a good pick.
Well, you better not, because let me tell you something about smoking. Because smoking's bad. Okay. Because the thing about tattling is, tattling's bad. Okay, because nobody likes to tattle. Okay.
I like Kenny a lot. I think Kenny's really funny.
That's Kenny for you. Wait, have you seen the South Park movie though?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my god, dude! The 4K is coming out this month. We're gonna do a watch along anniversary for that next month.
That's gonna be great. I'm excited.
So, bro, I cannot wait for that. And if you also like stuff from Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I definitely recommend Team America World Police.
Good to know. Good to know.
That movie will offend people, but it's damn funny. Like all the characters in that film are all puppets. Interesting enough.
Yeah.
What like say? The new world is inevitable. It's what? Inevitable. One more time. Inevitable. Things are inevitably going to change. God damn it! Open your fucking ears. I think it was Trey Parker that plays Kim Jong Un, the puppet in that movie. And it is so like it's a city walk kind of voice, and it is so freaking funny. What's another one? Basketball. Basketball is also one of their films that they did while South Park was on the rise. That's a funny movie for sure.
Good to know.
And there's this movie called Orgasmo that is rated NC-17.
Dang.
It's something. I'll just say that. It's something.
Yep.
I don't want to go any further than that. It's something. All I can say is that it is from the same guys that made South Park. That's all I will say. But God, I can't even describe anything about that movie without getting canceled. So I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is just South Park is the shit. Like, it certainly is. You're also talking about Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of your favorite episodes of Family Guy?
Oh, God. I'm really bad at remembering episode names, but I don't even know I don't even know the name of my favorite episode, but it was because Gav told the story one time, but it was when we were in the hospital, and I turned on Family Guy and we watched a bunch of the episodes. But I don't think I could pick a favorite Family Guy episode. But from all the episodes I've seen, there it's just freaking great.
I'm trying to think of one. I remember there's one funny scene in a certain episode. I don't remember what it was, but Peter Griffin appears in the Peanuts universe, and Charlie Brown misses the ball again because Lucy keeps moving it away. So Peter Griffin beats the shit out of Lucy. So basically, he beats the shit out of a kid. That is really funny. And also, anytime they do Roadhouse, that's, of course, funny. What's another funny Family Guy that when they're playing Unga Bunga, which is a game like where they hit each other with bed mattresses.
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, Chris, look, mom's naked. Where? You creep. And he hits the television.
Oh.
Like, stop it! I thought to watch my program. He's like, oh, Chris, look, mom's naked. Where? Anga Bunga.
Oh.
You imbeciles, you ruined my night. All to do is just watch television. Like, and he's throwing a temper tantrum, and then Meg's like, "Aw, you want a little hug from your big sister?" She picks him up, and then he headbutts her, and giving her a bloody nose. I think maybe even breaking her nose in the process by giving her that headbutt.
Probably.
Could you imagine if I'm trying to think of something here. Could you imagine if you were a judge and if somebody and sentencing somebody for probation, but they were thinking they were gonna sentence them to jail. That they just came up to you and just beat the shit out of you. Could you imagine that?
That would be crazy.
You're like, water, water, water. Because you would definitely sentence them to prison for that.
Yep.
But then the second time that happens, you're just like, water, water, water. You would sentence, I think by that point, you would sentence them to a life sentence.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm trying to think of the prison I would send them to if they beat me up twice.
Just send them to the abandoned Alcatraz with just a singular.
I was about to say, I think I'd send them to Alcatraz.
Yep.
I was about to say, I think I'd send them to Alcatraz. Like, oh man, dude, that's funny as hell. Like, somebody beats you up in the courtroom, and then you're just like, order, order, order. I sentence you to life sentence in Alcatraz. Say goodbye to your family. Go to Alcatraz. Because you wouldn't even have any motivation just to say, you are going to go to Alcatraz.
Nope, you just gotta lay it out for them.
Because you're beat, because you got your ass beat. So.
Yep.
Or could you imagine like an actual judge making you the judge for one day?
I'd make a lot of mistakes.
Could you imagine that?
I'd do a lot of bad things if I was a judge. I would make so many mistakes.
But I would definitely sentence one of my bullies to 10 years in jail. That's for damn sure.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's the same kid I told you about that sent me a threat text.
Yeah.
I would because that's actually pretty illegal.
Yep.
I would sentence him. Actually, how's this? I sentence him to 10 years in jail, and then he comes out, and I give him 10 more years.
Yep.
So technically, it would be 20 years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, bro, like if you were sent into my courtroom, depending on what evidence there is, I think I'd probably let you off. Like, but again, depends on the crime you committed.
Yeah.
It would mostly depend on the crime you committed, but if it was like a robbery, I would just say just pay back the money. Like I would still let you off but just pay back the money.
Yeah.
And again, this is just in a future, like in a world where this might be happening.
Yeah.
This is not reality, people. Don't take this out of context and be like, Luke is a terrible judge. He would let his best friend off with a warning after a robbery. Like, no, we're not doing it like that. We're like it's in a world that doesn't exist, and we'd be doing things that we wouldn't even be doing.
Yep.
So, God damn it. I don't know if that really made much sense, but here we are. Oh, actually, here's a good question. I actually want to ask you this. So, if there was besides the obvious answer that I know you're going to pick, if you were to direct a movie one day, what kind of movie would you direct? I already know the first answer that comes to mind, so please pick something else.
Okay, obviously I would pick a Marvel movie if I got to direct, but besides that, I would really want to do a horror film.
Like, what subgenre of horror would you want to do?
I would love to make a slasher, because that's my favorite subgenre.
There you go. That's a good pick.
I would love to work on specifically the Chucky franchise.
would you like? Who would you have to be the voice of Chucky if Brad Dourif was no longer around?
Um, I don't know if I could pick someone new, but I'd probably see if Mark Hamill would come back from the remake to do a voice, because I didn't mind his voice for Chucky.
Just the look of the doll is pretty terrible. Like,
Yeah, I don't. Besides that, I like the voice of Chucky quite a bit.
I even really like the movie in general. Like, a lot of people shit on it, and I don't really get it.
Yeah, it's a fine movie.
Like, there's some good kills for sure.
Yeah,
There's good
there
kills,
really are.
and there is tension in the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to work on a slasher movie.
I'm trying to. I mean, of course, I would love to direct an action movie,
Yeah.
but for me, I would definitely want to make one where, like, somewhat similar in vein to Monkey Man, like where there's realism to it, and not just people, and not just the main protagonist just beating the shit out of people for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, we want to show that they're only human.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can still take hits and still feel pain from it.
Yeah.
I can say like one of the most real things I remember about Monkey Man is him bouncing off the window. That was so real. Like
Yeah.
because in all reality, that glass would not have broken.
Mm-hmm.
And he just bounced out the window, and I was like, that feels so real. But it's kind of funny though at the same time, like the fact that he just bounced off the window. So, but also a good interesting thing is, sometimes I even practice some fight choreography as part of some exercise.
Yeah. I just go around my house pretending to be Wolverine, so there's that.
Sometimes I actually practice some of the fight choreography from Monkey Man, like mainly like the kitchen and the bathroom fight scenes
Yeah.
from the trailer. Like I look back at those parts and then I practice those fight choreography scenes.
Yeah.
But again, I don't use any of the items that they use because that's stupid. Like
But yeah.
you could possibly break something, or like you could possibly break something,
Yep.
and you don't want to do that. Like, what if it's like a prized possession of yours, or if it's like the glass at work or something like that? You know,
Uh-huh.
you'd be stupid for that. Like, so that's why like I do like invisible swings, invisible punches,
Yeah.
stuff like that, or just grabbing like invisible objects. Like, say this is like a knife.
Yep.
Like
I do that all around my house, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to get together, dude. We're gonna have to get together and practice that fight choreography.
Oh, 100%.
Like, again, that's like perfect exercise. Like, but again, I'm not gonna like. Obviously, I wouldn't hit you with anything because I don't want you to get injured.
Well, yeah, but
If we were making a movie on that though, then and obviously people are gonna get injured. Like,
yeah.
I mean, hell, I'll take some hits. Like, but another funny thing is though, dude. Even if I were to do an action movie, I actually have never broken a bone in my life. I've only sprained bones. Like, I sprained my ankle and I sprained my finger.
Yeah, I don't think I've broken anything before. Gav's broken his toes.
I've stubbed toes, but I never broken my toes.
He broke his toe against a vent before.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. But like, but I'm just gonna say, I want to ask you this: if you were making an action movie and the producer said, like, you have to at least break one bone before we finish filming, what? Again, I know this might not be a real scenario because because again, it might not even happen. But then again, though, if you're filming an action movie, that's probably going to happen. You might break a couple bones.
I'm gonna break one of my fingers if I have to.
I think I would honestly break my hand. Like,
yeah.
But in all honesty, in regards to which hand I would break, lefty.
I'd break my right
because my right hand's my good hand.
Yeah, I'm left hand dominant, so I would break my right hand.
But if your budget is like you can't afford to put a cast on it and VFX it out of the movie, you got to find a way to get around it.
Yep.
Because that was another thing about Monkey Man. Like the reason why Dev Patel had to go to find this like cheap medical private jet was because he couldn't afford to put a cast on his hand to VFX out of the movie.
Yep.
So yeah, he couldn't afford to do that. So they had to go to Jakarta to for a cheap medical procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I talk about Monkey Man a lot, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I talk about Deadpool a lot, so you know.
Yeah, but I mean, because if I broke one of my toes, though, dude, I wouldn't even be able to walk for the rest of filming.
Yep.
If you broke your arm, you definitely would not even be able to fight.
No, you wouldn't.
If you broke your hand, you still could, but you only have to do it one-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my goodness, dude. Like, I couldn't even imagine even doing, like, fight choreography with just one hand.
I know. I feel like that'd be... obviously, it's probably really difficult, but...
If you've seen some people that have actually been able to pull it off with just one hand, like...
It's really impressive.
Like, your mind's just blown for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'd agree with that, I think I'd agree with you, honestly. Just break one of my fingers.
Yeah.
Because you could still fight with with that same hand, but just you can't use one of those fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd have to just grab a certain item like this or something like that. If you like broke your pinky,
yeah,
you'd have to grab a certain item like this. Like make it like your pinky's gone or something like that, and just try to grab something like this.
Yeah.
And that would be very, very hard. Like,
uh-huh.
Or hell, even imagine like you broke your broke this finger. The one that disappears like this is the one you break.
Yeah.
And then you have to grab something like this. Or actually, I'm gonna try. I got it.
Good job.
It's good testing. How about this? Did it without the pinky.
There you go.
I'm gonna try to do it without my middle finger.
Okay.
God, it's not easy. I think it's way tougher to pick up something without your middle finger.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about the ring? Let's see about the ring finger. Not as hard, but it's way harder to pick up something without your middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me try this. I can't even pick up a bottle of Sprite for that. I can't. Like, here. Let me turn the camera around. I'll lower my tripod. Okay. Middle finger's gone. It's not easy. Okay, I did get it. But,
okay, there you go.
But again, it's not easy. Like you really have to be careful with like how you're picking it up.
Yeah.
But God, I can't believe I just did that. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something in regards to. If you were to work on your own fight choreography, would you rather have strings behind you or do it by yourself?
I think I'd rather have
I got a better
behind
one.
me. I think I'd rather have strings behind me. That way you could do a bit more extravagant stuff and go a bit more wild with it. Because if I was doing an action movie, I'd go very off the walls.
You look at someone like Tom Cruise, like he goes way off the walls, dude.
Yeah.
Like he'll do all of his own stunt choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Who's another? Jason Statham. Jason Statham's another one that does all of his own action choreography.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Crank, he actually did a lot of those stunts.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously he didn't do the helicopter fall, like, because dude, if he did the helicopter fall, he would have died.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way somebody could survive that. Like bouncing off of a car and then plop,
No.
like right down to the street and then survive it. There's no fucking way. But it was so comical the way he just bounces off that car. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it was.
Like, he's falling. He's almost there. Boing! And the fact that he survives that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
There's no way you would have survived that. But then just blinks. Credits roll. Like the movie's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hilarious how they end both movies. Especially with Crank 2. Him being set on fire, he's like,
it's insane.
And I can't wait to see Mike's script on like finished script on Crank 3.
I know. That's really good so far too.
Yeah, we need a Crank 3.
Yep.
I mean, hell, if he wants our help on it, he has no shame in calling us up.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows us pretty well with Crank.
Oh yeah. So far, I think he's nailed it though.
Like he's got the aesthetic correct on the Crank move on Crank 3.
Definitely.
But I seriously love that though. It's kind of hilarious to me on how they were filmed.
Yeah.
Like, but I love the style though. I mean, it's style. Like,
yeah.
Like, what's a movie where you think of the style and it's just like they used it's way too stylized.
Wait, like too stylized, where it's kind of like a bad thing?
Yeah, too stylized where it's kind of like a bad thing for you.
The 2003 Hulk movie.
That one was a bit too stylized.
Mm-hmm. That's my pick for it.
Sometimes Baz Luhrmann's showcase can do that.
A lot of I still haven't finished Elvis, but a lot of the editing in that was a little bit off. At least for me, it was.
But I mean, some of his choices.
Some of the choices are pretty cool, but
yeah, but I mean, I love Elvis personally. I love that movie. I mean, Austin Butler is fucking phenomenal as Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't really too invested in the movie, but I'm not a big fan of Elvis as a musician or his music, which I know is a hot take.
But I mean, I was interested in his. I mean, obviously, I was interested in his story. Like,
yeah, I think it's getting a little bit.
I might not be a big fan of this person either, but if you want to actually learn, like actually look at his story, then I'd say watch the movie that the biopic about him, which is Walk the Line.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yep, the biopic about Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
know you may
I
not be a big
think,
Johnny Cash fan, but he has an interesting story.
yeah, honestly, personally, I think biopics are getting a little bit out of hand now.
What do you mean?
I just think there's too many for artists that don't really need a biopic.
Like, what's one artist that you don't think we needed a biopic about?
Honestly, I don't think we needed an Amy Winehouse movie.
Interesting.
I don't think if she I think if she didn't this might sound a little bit disrespectful and I apologize if it comes off this way, but I'm not really sure how else to say it. I don't think if she tragically died, she would have gotten a movie.
That might be true.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting a Michael Jackson movie. That makes sense. Michael Jackson's just one of the most famous people in pop history. So it makes sense for him to get a biopic. Elvis makes sense to get a biopic. But I don't know. I don't really think Amy
Freddie
Winehouse
Mercury
needed.
makes sense to get a biopic. Like, Freddie
Yeah,
Mercury makes sense. Elton John makes sense. Like, Elton
yeah.
John is one of the most famous musicians of all time.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think. Obviously, Bohemian Rhapsody makes a lot of sense for Queen, but I just don't think. I don't think every artist who died needs a biopic, and I feel like that's what Hollywood is doing a lot of the time now because biopics are inherently pretty successful.
Right, so that's why we got a Amy Winehouse biopic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it looks as bad as people are saying it is. Like,
I don't think it looks horrible, but I didn't think it looked that good either.
But I mean, I'm interested in watching it because I mean, Marissa Abella looks like she's really trying to capture the essence of how Amy Winehouse was as a person.
Actually, I like she kind of has the essence. I don't think she looks at all like Amy Winehouse.
But then at the same time, like we get actors that don't look like at all like the music icon.
Mm-hmm. Which I think that's a mistake that shouldn't happen. Like, I can't remember the main actor, but whoever played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody fit the part. He looked a lot like him.
Well, and also like, yeah, he definitely looked the part, but he also definitely captured what Freddie Mercury was like as a person.
Mm-hmm. I think visuals of that, especially when doing a movie, is very important because if they don't really look the part, like when I saw a lot of the trailers and stuff for Amy Winehouse, I was like, yeah, this is just a movie this is just an actress playing Amy Winehouse. I don't really feel like this is Amy Winehouse. Where when I look at clips from Elvis, I'm like, yeah, that's Elvis. If that makes sense.
Because Austin Butler captures the essence of what Elvis was like as a person.
Austin Butler,
and he looks a lot like Elvis.
Yeah, like, Austin. I think looking the part when it comes to biopics is just as important as capturing the essence.
Yeah, I mean, another person I think looks the part of Elvis is Jacob Elordi, who plays as Elvis in Priscilla.
Uh-huh.
So, and I think he does also a really good job of capturing Elvis. But obviously because it's called Priscilla, it's told from her point of view.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what else really to say about that, to be honest with you. Like, if you get those like stories of like toxic first love, but they use the Presley's love story as the template, you basically get Priscilla. Like,
mm-hmm. But yeah, I just to wrap up my thoughts a bit on that topic, I just think we're overdoing it with biopics in Hollywood.
But I mean, there's great truth, like there's more interesting stories that are out there than musical person biopics.
Yeah, that's where I think biopics are. I should refer because when I think biopics, I think of the musical ones because those are like the most popular biopics nowadays. I think the musical and musician biopics should slow down a bit before they become too oversaturated.
Yeah, I do. I can agree with that to an extent because, again, like I said, there's more interesting true stories that are out there than just music person. Like here's one I'm gonna show you really quick. It's a little movie called Hotel Mumbai. This is a movie about the Taj Hotel that was being taken over by a group of terrorists.
Oh.
Back in 2008. Down in Mumbai, India. So it was basically the Taj Hotel terrorist attack in 2008.
Oh yeah.
Like that's pretty disturbing. The GameStop stock stuff that happened a couple of years back is more interesting. Like, I wonder if they made a movie about that. Oh, they did. It's this gem right here. Yep. I think how many times? I think I've seen this movie now 3 times. Love it. Still love it. What's another interesting true story? Oh, here's one. Bleed for This with Miles Teller. So basically, he plays as a boxer that gets into a pretty brutal car accident.
Oh.
Which breaks his neck. So he can't fight for a while until after he recovers, he has only one more fight left in his career. But it's about the drama about like an injury for a certain like sports player.
Yeah.
Like it's really well done. But I can't agree that we were getting a little bit overstuffed with music person biopics.
Yeah.
Even though I did enjoy Bob Marley One Love, I did like that movie. But I can agree we are getting a bit oversaturated with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna move spots here real quick. My phone's about dead. I don't want it to die through the stream. Otherwise, I'm gonna kick my ass. Let's see. Another one would be another interesting story would be like a biopic about the Jackass crew.
Yeah.
Like how they came about and some of the difficulties that were going on with the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were receiving a lot of weird things that were going on in regards to copycat incidences about copycatting some of the stunt work.
Yeah.
So they even had like OSHA people assigned to the show that saying that they couldn't jump off anything higher than 3 feet. So basically, I want them to start I want them to go from like the first half of it being like the difficulties of working on the show, and then the second half being the difficulties through the movies.
Yeah.
Especially like with like bones broken, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That'd be really interesting.
Because through pretty much all of them, a lot of the members got injured.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Knoxville's gotten injured quite a bit. Like dude, that man takes all the hits.
Yeah, he does.
Like think about the stuff like he does in Action Point. Like that movie, that he was injured more than any film he's ever done in his career.
Yeah.
He had 4 concussions, a broken hand, a busted meniscus, got whiplash, got stitches over his right eye, and lost a few teeth.
Dang.
He went through a lot with that movie.
Yeah. Crazy.
Because interesting thing is, after the Alpine slide stunt, he wanted to there was no brakes on it, obviously, because it's a jackass-ish kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to. He wasn't sure like how it was gonna go. So he just wanted. He was like, I'm gonna let my feet hit and take it in the shoulder. But he didn't think about what was after his shoulder, which is his face.
Mm-hmm.
So he hit his face pretty hard against the ground. Like when he fell off the slide, he hit his face. So he goes to the emergency room. They check him out, and then they send him home. And when he gets home, he has a little blood on his nose. So he grabs a tissue and blows his nose. But once he blows his nose, his left eye pops out of its socket. Because when he was blowing his nose, he was actually blowing air behind his eyeball. Like, because he powdered a bone right here in his face. Like, it didn't break; it just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls up his executive producer and he's like, I need to go back to the hospital, dude. My eye just popped out. His producer's like, ah, ha, 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 ha. And he's like, John, my eye just popped out. He goes, I'll be right there. So he had to wear an eye patch for a while.
Yeah.
And even the doctors even were like, you cannot sneeze or blow your nose for 6 weeks. And he's like, I have really bad allergies. So how am I not going to be able to sneeze? How am I not going to be able to sneeze for 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this time he was walking out with Chris Pontius, who's one of the other Jackass members. By the way, MVP. He's the dude. He said something. So Pontius said something funny. He was laughing, and then he held his nose and he was like it blew, and he goes doink.
Well.
But thank God he was wearing an eye patch, so he just pushes on the patch to put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
But on the last 3 days of shooting the movie, they could only shoot the right side of his face because his left side was like a Picasso painting.
Yeah.
Which means messy.
Yeah.
You want to know another really weird injury that that happened to him at one point?
Yeah.
All right, so Matt Hoffman, if you guys know who Matt Hoffman is, he's a biker. So he was doing a tribute to Evel Knievel. So Johnny Knoxville decided to do a couple stunts on the bike. And he's pretty terribly coordinated, so he can't really do it very well. And he's not listening when the instructor is telling him that he can't let go of the bike, otherwise it'll turn into a missile and come down and hit you.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, he goes off the end of the ramp and lets go of the bike, and he lands and his knees are behind his ears.
Jeez.
And then the bike goes 40 feet in the air and then hits it and then breaks its handlebars off of his crotch. So it had impact on him.
Yeah.
He stands up and he feels like he's peeing himself. But every time his heart would beat, blood would shoot out the end of his penis.
Jesus.
So he had to get rushed right into surgery.
Yeah.
For that, and he had to have a catheter like 2 times a day for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Which like I wasn't expecting him to say like for one of his injuries to say that he broke his penis.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine that? Like, like, oh man. Like that's why they say don't let go of the bike, because if you let go of the bike, it'll go 40 feet in the air and turn into a missile and hit you.
Yep.
Like, it'll just go up and then right down.
Mm-hmm.
again, there's some crazy ones down there.
Yeah.
So he had a boxing match in a department store with a boxer named Butterbean.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, he is really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
So Butterbean at one point knocks out Knoxville on his feet.
Yeah.
So and then he lands and he falls over and hits his head against the concrete floors, and it splits his head like a melon. So
Jeez.
and then at this point he's like when he's out like this, he's like. It sounds like he's sleeping, but the doctor told him that was him just trying to swallow his tongue. But I'm like, that doesn't look like that. It sounds like he's sleeping.
Yep.
Like, he was fucking snoring. Like, so it sounds like he's sleeping.
Uh-huh. That's wild.
I'm trying to think here. Okay, yeah, this is the last one I'll talk about for that, and not because this one was pretty brutal. So the magic trick stunt that he did in Jackass Forever, that involved a bull.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had to do that stunt twice, because the first time it didn't look good enough, because like the bull didn't come at him for like the first like 90 seconds, but once it came at him, it smoked him in the ribs and put him out like a cigarette into the ground.
Yeah.
So that obviously didn't work for the film. So they went again and they got a different bull. And that bull definitely did the job. Like, because he got a broken wrist, broken rib, concussion, and a brain hemorrhage. So he spent the weekend at the hospital, and it took him a few months to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So with that one, he definitely got smoked. Like,
yeah.
If you look at the way he like lands, you're like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really feel bad for Johnny.
Yeah.
But it's like, but at the same time, like, you're impressed with the fact of how well he takes those hits. But after that, like, because now he's in his 50s, he can't do that anymore. Otherwise, he will die.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude, I couldn't. Could you imagine like doing stunts like that in your 50s? Like,
it's insane.
I mean, it's Jackass after all. They're dumb guys doing dumb shit. So
yeah.
But actually, here's a good question about speaking on stunts. If there was one stunt like that, someone told you that you can, that if somebody told you to do it and you were just like, oh hell to the no, like, you're just like, hell no, I'm not doing that, what would it be?
It would be from Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. And I haven't seen the movie, but it was at least some of it was in the trailer. It's when Tom Cruise jumps off the mountain on the bike.
Oh, well, the upside is you have a parachute.
Yeah, true. But even then, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
I think for me, it would be, oh god, this is actually kind of tough for me. I'd say probably jumping across a building. Like, I think I'd probably say jumping across a building.
Yeah.
Because you never know what the end result could be. You could even just like fall short of landing.
Yeah, true.
And you could just fall off that cliff to your death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll certainly do like I'll try to do like a skydiving stunt or something like that, but like, my goodness, dude, I would not jump across buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh man, even just thinking about it just makes my palms sweaty.
Yeah.
Or even thinking about it like this, like jumping across a ledge, or like jumping off the ledge onto to like another building.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to have some like fucking jetpacks to get across. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way you'd be able to get any jetpacks by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, dude, I would actually do that one stunt that Ryan Gosling did in The Fall Guy, where spoiler alert, it's at the end of the. Well, it's actually kind of given in the trailer, like where he goes like,
Yeah.
that I would do. Like, that I would so do. Like, but again, safety mats.
Mm-hmm.
You needed. And even though I don't have a driver's license, I would definitely do some car stunts.
Yeah.
Like, who would not want to do car stunts? But like, or how about this? Like, what kind of car stunt for you would be like? I don't think so.
Driving off of a cliff, I think.
Because you never know if you're gonna make it across.
Yep.
I mean, in Furious 7, Vin Diesel literally drives a car, drives the car off of one building into another building.
Of course.
Like, but if I actually were to do like some car stunts, honestly, I would just want to make sure that Jason Statham was in there as my stunt man.
Yeah.
Because with all the car stunts he did in Crank, like those are all done by him.
Mm-hmm.
All those car stunts were all him.
Yeah.
And your mind's just blown for how well he does those stunts.
Absolutely.
Or how about this? If you were doing like a revenge movie, what do you think would be the best way to take out a certain bad a certain bad guy? Like, what do you think would be a cool way to do it?
Dangling them.
It can be one that has been done before. Like,
I think dangling them, off of the hanging them off of the Statue of Liberty by their feet and just leaving them there.
I would definitely do one from The Beekeeper where you have them strapped to the car.
Mm-hmm.
But you let the car go by itself, and then it'll just go right off the bridge for you.
Yep.
But to make it, I know, and I don't have to be CGI to do it. But the cool way to do it is to make them to make them hit against the other bridge and then just go boom.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing I wish they kind of did in The Beekeeper, is that either he hits his head against the back of the truck and his head explodes, or him hitting against the other part of the bridge or losing one of his body parts. Because that would have been even funnier. It would have been dumber, but it would have been even funnier. Like, because even though the kill is so creative, like it is so fucking funny, you're kind of disappointed that it wasn't. But at the same time, you're kind of disappointed that it wasn't as brutal as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or actually, here's a good one. Here's another good question. If you were in the Pooniverse, how's that for you? If you were in the Pooniverse, what character would you want to be as a slasher killer?
Tigger. Easy.
I definitely would be Winnie the Pooh.
That's a good one.
I mean, if you look at my size, dude, I would fit so well for Winnie the Pooh. Either Winnie the Pooh or Piglet. I think I'd be Piglet.
They're all pretty cool though, so.
I just got to make sure I have my sledgehammer out so that way I can whack a girl in the face with
Yep.
it. Hopefully this time with more practical blood.
Yep.
Because, like, tell me if I'm correct on this, that the kill that that Piglet did to that girl in the pool was CGI blood.
I think it was.
It is. It is CGI blood.
Makes sense. Have you
There's
seen
no part of that even looks real.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe except for the face being blown off, but the blood that splatters, like, woo,
Yeah.
is not even real.
Mm-hmm.
I still do want to actually do a watch along for the first Blood and Honey, but with some of the cast. Like,
That would be fun.
but because he interviewed at least one of them, I think I know who to call to get the help. Mike.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did interview.
He did an interview with Natasha Tassini, who was Laura in the first movie.
Mm-hmm. He did interview the actor of Tigger as well from Pooh 2.
Santer, yeah. And I was the one that asked him the question if he could go up against an action star, would it be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jason Statham? And he was like, dude, Jason Statham is a freaking animal with his fighting skills.
Uh-huh.
And he's right. And I'm glad. And then Mike was like, well, have you ever seen Crank? You definitely don't want to fight him in Crank. And then Lewis was like, oh yeah, Crank's a good film, by the way. And I'm like, yes! Because I actually wanted to, because I wasn't sure how he felt about Crank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he was like, dude, that'd be actually kind of cool if he was gonna do if he was actually gonna play a part in like the next Crank. That'd
Yeah,
kind
that would be.
of maybe the main villain.
That'd be fun.
Dude, Lewis Santer would be perfect as like our main villain in Crank 3.
Mm-hmm.
But again, though, I remember him saying that he doesn't want to go up against Jason Statham
Mm-hmm.
because he is a fucking animal.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like Crank High Voltage. Like, he goes all out with those fighting styles. I mean, dude, he even has to electrocute himself to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
Goes up to like those high voltage bars, grabs it, electrocuted. I'm still alive.
Uh-huh.
Damn. But yeah, we're past the 2-hour mark, and I think we might call it. So
yeah, but this was super fun. Happy I actually got to do Moviegoers. It was a blast.
Yep, and there's still more guests going to be coming along the way for sure. I mean, and this will obviously not be Cam's last time on the show, like no question.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it definitely will not be his last time. Like it definitely is his first time, but it won't be his last.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cam, my boy, thank you so much for being here, dude. This was a blast.
It was. Thank you for having me, as always.
Yep, and of course, let everybody know where they can find you, my man.
All right, yeah. So you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Threads. I don't really post there, but it's all under KamCrossComics. I think there's a space there for all of them, but there might not be, but it's some variation of this. There might be a space, might not be. But yeah, I talk all things comics. Hopefully you got a hint of that in the live stream with some fantastic questions that were asked. But yeah, I love talking comics, specifically Marvel. That's like my thing. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome, brother. So yeah, and yeah, please go check him out. He's a great dude, like always. But as far as what you guys can expect from me, Tuesday we got Candyman on the docket for watch-alongs because we got a lot of them coming up this month. Next Friday, June 7th, we are doing Hitman, not the video game one, the new film from Richard Linklater and Glenn Powell. We're watching that version. Then we got Aliens, we got Alien 3, The Bank Job, Bubba Hotep, and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie all coming up. And then on Mike's, on Friday, June 14th, is a watch-along for the original Friday the 13th. So we can kick off that series. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you'll obviously be seeing this guy on most of these streams in regards to the watch-alongs because he is a co-host.
100%.
Yes, and a very honorary co-host, I should say. So, thank you to everybody that came in tonight. Again, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having
me.
me.
Say what's up to Jason. Thank you for being here, dude. I appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next time. Peace out.
See ya.